The voice of climbers.
So we are here at the Rockmaster 2025 with Will Bosi. Thank you very much, Will, for being with us on Climbing Radio.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, we've seen you yesterday on the dual route. During the warm-up, you looked a little bit, let's say, not at ease. And then in the final and in the real competition, you were flying on the routes. What happened?
Well, yeah, in the warm-up or the practice, I was really nervous. I honestly was not sure I would be able to do the route, even like with any time. I found it really hard, and I fell off in one bit because I went to the wrong hold, and I was like trying lots of different betas and trying to find a way that would work just to do the route, and then like think about the speed after. And I honestly was not so sure how well I would do. But then afterwards, I was chatting a lot with all the other guys and a lot with Stefano, and he was telling me like some of the beta he had found through the sections that I was really struggling with, which some of it involved going to like holds out on the right. And yeah, so I didn't practice that beta when it came to the actual qualification, I just trusted what he said, tried that, and it worked so much better, and it made like a world of difference. I think without that would have been a very different competition.
Okay, so good example of sharing the
Yeah, lots of
working
teamwork
together,
for sure.
teamwork. Okay, and today you have already done the warm up on the boulders. How did you feel?
It was so much worse than on the routes. So on the route, I at least knew that like I had done all the moves and it was possible. For the boulders, I basically dedicated all my time to just the two that we don't know the order when we practice them, but we can kind of guess. So the two that I thought would be boulders 1 and 2, or I thought one of them would be number 1. I basically dedicated all my time to those two, and honestly didn't do so good. Like because with the dual is still like quite similar to outdoor climbing and lots of holds, whereas with the modern style of competition bouldering and all these big sort of slopey volumes, the dynamic coordination moves is just not something I ever train anymore being an outdoor climber. So yeah, I found it really, really hard, and I don't think it will go so well,
Okay,
unfortunately.
no, that don't say so. We will see. We will see. So you said you're mostly an outdoor climbers.
Yeah.
Before talking about the rock, how do you feel on plastic in competitions? Is it your first time at the Rockmaster? Have you ever competed before? What's your?
So this is my second time actually here. The first time I think was in 2019, when I used to do World Cups, but I stopped doing World Cups, international competitions, or kind of like any competitions, I guess, maybe almost 5 years ago now. So I kind of retired from that and just climb out on the rock now. I do some training sessions in the gym, but even then I'm mostly on like wooden holds or very small, like more old school resin than wooden holds are more old school holds, like sort of resin little crimps rather than the sort of plasticky big volumes that are around now in the competitions. So yeah, it's a very different style than what I'm used to, and I was very surprised to be invited back to Rockmaster just from not doing any competitions. And yeah, Arco is one of my favorite places in the world, so I was so happy to be invited to come back.
Okay.
I'm staying for a bit longer as a bit more of a holiday, and yeah, the duel went really well, and I think that was the discipline that works for me, even though I was so nervous before it. I felt like, you know, when you're like your face just kind of goes pale and white, and I was like, whoa. But then I had so much fun competing, and I'm hoping that it'll be the same with the boulder, but because it's knockout, I don't think I'll be competing for very long tonight.
Let's see.
Let's see, but
Okay, maybe it's like yesterday night that everything changed during
yeah,
the competition.
yeah, maybe.
And moving to the rock, you've just come back from Norway in Flatanger, where you've been trying silence. What do you think of the route? Have you climbed the key sections? What are your feelings about the route setting?
Yeah, the route setting. What? So
Sending.
Oh, sending. Yeah.
sending the route. Yeah.
So yeah, just back from Flatiron. I was there for a month. First trip, and basically spent the entire time just on silence. I thought it was absolutely incredible and so difficult. I've tried many 9Bs and 9B plus routes. I've done, I guess, Excalibur, so I've done one, and then I've done quite a lot of hard routes in Spain or tried a lot of the others. And silence was for sure a step above everything else. Like it deserves the next grade of the 9C for sure in my head. And I made really good progress. The trip went a lot better than expected. I've done all of the moves of the route. I've done from the end of the first crux to the top, and the first crux, which is the main part of the route, like everything is about that, I've done now in 2 halves, but not quite overlapping halves, because on the first one you finish by like turning around and kicking your foot into the crack, and I was able to turn around but not quite get my foot into the crack. But then starting from there, I was able to climb the rest of the crux and the second crux, and then fell in the third. So yeah, I made a lot of progress, very happy with it. And I think sending is still quite far away, but I'm hopeful that the next trip I can get close to doing the crux in like as a full boulder. And then once that's possible, then the whole route I think will become possible.
Wow, that would be great to have someone repeating that legendary route. And then the next question is about other disciplines of climbing. Since you're the climber who's climbed the highest number of 9As in Boulder, and you've achieved 9B plus here with Excalibur in sport climbing, have you ever thought of trying some other disciplines like multi-pitch, for example, or trad?
Trad for sure. I done very little when I was younger, but in the last year I've been doing some more, and yeah, definitely doing a lot more trad. Multi-pitch I'm not so psyched for. Like I really enjoy going for like short, like couple hours of like sport multi-pitch, whereas like quite easy terrain and you just get to do a lot of climbing is very fun. But going to somewhere like Yosemite is not really on my like list of things to do at the moment. It looks incredible, but for me I think that the shorter routes are better.
You just prefer that.
Yeah.
And in the home country of trad climbing, why did you choose to become a sport climber and a boulderer? But yeah, mostly sport climber.
That is a good question. Probably because of the competitions. When I was younger, I started competing from quite a young age, and then it just logical to do the sport climbing and then the bouldering because they were what the competitions were. So that's what I trained for. And then because I spent all my time doing that, I just don't think I ended up having the time to go out and learn and climb on the trad with other people. Definitely now, like I wish I had done a bit more, and I'm starting to do more, but it's like taking time to learn to place the gear well and be confident on the gear. But yeah, I don't know. I think the competitions are what drove me to do sport and boulder to begin with.
And climbing necessarily takes you to travel a lot around the world. Do you like this side of climbing, or would you prefer to remain closer home?
As a good mix. Yeah, I think traveling and seeing other places is absolutely incredible, and I'm so grateful for all the trips that I've been able to do and go on. Going to places like Norway or coming here is amazing. I love it so much. But I'm definitely very motivated at the moment for first ascents in Scotland. So want to stay closer to home for like hopefully quite a bit of the winter and stuff.
Now some yes and no questions about tools and new technologies in climbing. So I'll just say a list of these things, and you just say yes if you're pro, and no if you're against these objects, let's say. So let's start with kneepads.
Wow. I know it's one word answers, but I'd say like I wear them, so I guess yes, but I really don't like them. I find them maybe not so much for the like ethics side, but they're so uncomfortable in general, and I feel like I like lose a bit of mobility. Sorry. So yeah, I'm pro them because I use them, but they're not my favorite.
Crack gloves.
Ah, yeah. Crack climbing is just too painful. So things like crack gloves and like the ankle sort of ankle gloves, I guess. I don't know what they're called, but they're like similar. It makes such a difference that when I did like the big crack climbing in Adashbat in the Czech Republic, it was like, yeah, without those would have been cuts everywhere. So yeah, definitely good.
Jamming techniques.
Jamming, I like jamming. It's just I don't like doing it a lot because it's really painful.
Fans on the fingers.
Fans on the fingers.
Yeah, not fan, not fans. I mean, using the fan for the fingers.
I think is
pulling down the fingers.
yeah, I'm very pro. It's very good. Helps a lot for me, and I see some people online that say it's like, oh, it's aid, you know, it's like knee pads. But I don't think it's the same at all, because if you have good conditions, you don't need the fan. So the fan just helps you have better conditions, which for most people, if you can only climb on weekends and the weather's never ideal, then it makes such a difference.
Okay. And fans on the rock?
I like having the fan to the rock.
Directly to the rock.
Yeah, again, it just helps the conditions. I don't think there's any problem.
Okay. And then replicas?
Yeah, everyone uses replicas and always has. And I saw there's been a lot of debate, especially with like Timoa going to Burden of Dreams, because he sent the replica of this 3D scanned holds. And it's a interesting one where people, especially when I was going, were debating, would it still count as a flash? And I think 100%, because almost every sport climb in the world has a like 20 mil edge somewhere on the route. So if you've ever been on a fingerboard, then can you flash any route? So it's not the real thing. No matter how close you get to it, it's not the real one. So I think it's for sure okay. And it, again, it makes sense to train on replicas, because otherwise you have to spend so many more days going to the climb, driving there, or if it's somewhere far away, like having to travel there, and is obviously lots of time, expensive. And yeah, I think replicas are really good. I don't understand why some people find them not so nice, but yeah.
Drying hand creams?
Drying hand creams. Ah, like
I don't know if it's the right word.
yeah. There's like I can't remember the name, anti-hydral or something. There are lots of people use. I've never used anything like that. I think it would help me a lot, to be fair, but I always felt that it was like it was pushing it a bit. I don't know, just because it's that cream, for like most creams that are like you could get the sprays that are for drying your hands, I think are all okay. But I think using like an actual like medical cream is maybe like not so good.
Okay. Night sessions?
I really don't like night sessions, but depending on the area, if it's like okay to climb there at night, and it's way too hot during the day, then it's like you have to. But I find it so hard to have like a first session in the night, because you just can't see any of the feet. You don't really like understand. Whereas when you know where everything is and you just have to try the moves, can be kind of quite a cool experience. But yeah, it really depends on the area, because you don't want to be somewhere that's like annoying the wildlife or is banned or something.
A couple more. Checking betas before trying the route or the boulder. Checking the beta on videos.
Ah, yeah, it's a really interesting one. For anything hard I try, I will always check all the videos in beta. And like see, like I always will research and see if like as much info as I can. However, there's when I really enjoy the days as well, where I go somewhere and I like turn up to the crag I've never been or something, and go to a climb I've never tried, and you just don't know anything, you just try. I think is also like really fun, and in a way it adds more to the sort of mystery of solving the climb, which is really cool. But for when I'm going to try harder lines, I always try and get as much info as possible.
Okay. And last one, landing construction.
Again, is a difficult one, because if it's done correctly, is very good. Like there's a lot of climbs that would not be possible without the landings that have been built. However, you see some videos people have posted online and it looks like super messy and it's maybe in like a public area that I don't think is the best, because you have to be very careful not to obviously disturb the nature around. So, but it is also like something I've done a little bit of and is incredibly fun. Is like kind of like I don't know, it's a weird one, but yeah, is definitely good. In the ideal world, the boulders are perfect and you don't need to, but it's not the case in most places.
Okay, okay, thank you. Just a couple of more questions. So in the previous interview you've done with
Mhm.
a colleague here, you said you find spots of time very nice boulder, even if some people, not everyone, thinks it's so beautiful,
Yeah.
so nice. What's nice about it? What do you think of the boulder?
Yeah, it's so in videos it looks quite small, I think, is what most people have, or what some people have complained about, I've seen. But actually when you're there it doesn't feel so small, and it's mostly the rock is perfect, and where the line is like this perfect cut of the rock. Just the like exact number of holds to be possible. And I think the best thing though is just the place. You're in the Lake District in England, and it's on the side of Helvellyn, one of the like most famous mountains there. You hike up part of the path and then you cut off. And so like on the way up is a bit more touristy, there's lots of people, and then you cut off and you're like completely alone in this little valley with this river, and it's overlooking this giant lake and these mountains in the background, and it's just such a nice relaxing place to be. And the boulder's amazing to climb. Like it's so good and so much fun that it's just all of it together, I think is one of my favorite boulders ever.
Okay, so I think Aidan can be happy with your
Yeah, Aiden did very well with that boulder.
Okay. And last question, the level of difficulty in climbing is rising incredibly, but besides grades, do you see any other kind of evolution in climbing in terms of new ideas, perspectives, horizons?
Yeah, so I think the biggest change we're going to see is there's so many boulders that I think have been just assumed to be impossible in the past because we didn't have the right skill set. Whereas now with the new generation of guys that come through the comps, like the boulders are out here, these crazy coordination dynos, I think they'll be able to go to a lot of the boulders, especially like in Brioni with the river polished, where you look and there's like basically no holds, but only a couple slopers, and they might actually be able to envision a way of dynoing through that are like the sort of more old school thinking of grabbing holds just we couldn't even see to begin with. So I think there's a lot of potential for more climbs to come out in the future.
This is interesting. You mean maybe that the style of climbing that is developing in gyms, in competitions,
Yeah.
with new climbers coming from indoors might, how do you say, increase the level outside by changing the way of climbing.
Either increase the level or just like open up the possibility of way more boulders and more lines.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a way of taking something from competitions and indoor climbing and increasing and widening the horizons outside.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I think we'll see, like already we've seen some quite a few coordination boulders now, like sort of like double dynos, but I think we'll see a lot more cool things in the future.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you very much, Will. I don't know if you want to add anything besides my questions.
I'm okay. Thanks so much for having me.
And good luck for the KO boulder for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The voice of climbers.